Welcome everybody. Let's take a look at chapter 9, section 3. We've been practicing finding trig functions of any angle, and we expand that today by looking at reference angles. Reference angles are really the key to being able to find your sine, cosine, and tangent of things other than just 30 degrees, 45 degrees, or 60 degrees. So let's go ahead and get started on our notes. Anything you don't know, obviously you would jot it down. We've talked a lot about our unit circle. We know it has a radius of 1. And we've got some key angles like 0 degrees, 90 degrees, another 90 makes 180, another 90 makes 270, back to 360 degrees for a full circle. And as we label some of the answers, by going out 1 unit, you would end up at the point 1, 0. This is your x, this is your y. That matches your cosine and your sine. Cosine is your x, sine is second, so it's your y. We've got 90 degrees. If we went straight up, well, that would put us at 0, 1. Cosine of 90 degrees, 0. Sine of 90 degrees, 1. So reading your unit circle, those key angles. Over here, we went left 1 unit, so that would put us at -1 for the x value, but we didn't go up or down, so that would be 0. Cosine of 180 would be -1, sine of 180 would be 0. And lastly, down here at 270 degrees, if we went straight down, we didn't go left or right at all, so x would be 0, y would be -1. Cosine of 270 is 0, sine of 270 is -1. Back to 360 degrees, same answers as 0. So how does that help us with other angles? Well, we have reference angles. And by now, we have seen enough to know that halfway between 0 and 90 is 45. A little bit below that would be 30 degrees. A little bit above it would be 60 degrees. And we've labeled 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 as our answers. We put everything over 2, over 2, over 2, over 2, over 2. And we took the square root of all the tops. Square root of 1 is 1, so that's why I don't bother with it. So this is my x, this is my y. So how does that help us with something like 240 degrees? Well, we've got to think, where is 240 degrees? This is 0 or 360. This is 90, 180, 270. So where's 240 degrees? Well, it's between here and here. The trick is, how far from the x-axis? How far above, or in our case below, 180 is 240 degrees. How many more degrees past 180 do I have to go? Well, I could subtract 180 here. And that tells me that my reference angle is 60 degrees. That means from 180, I'm going to travel down 60 degrees. So here's 240 degrees. Why do we do that? Because if I have a reference angle of 60 degrees, that means my answers for cosine and sine of 240 are the same as the answers for 60 degrees. 1 over 2, radical 3 over 2. 1 over 2, radical 3 over 2. But the catch is, I've got to make sure that I'm taking into account in quadrant 1, all my functions are positive. Down here, only cosine's positive, only tangent's positive, only sine is positive. Remember our ACTs? We've studied all year for our ACTs. So in this quadrant where 240 degrees is at, only tangent is positive. You know what that tells me? Cosine's negative, sine's negative. Cosine of 240, -1/2. Sine of 240, negative radical 3 over 2. Let's try another. 315 degrees. So again, I'm going to start off by thinking about all my angles. 0, 360, 90, 180, 270, and I think, where is 315 degrees? Well, it's somewhere in between here, right? It's between 270 and 360. And we always build off of the x-axis. So this time I'm not using 180, that would be over here. I'm going to build off of, how many degrees before 360 is it? 360. Well, let's take 360 minus 315. How many degrees is our reference angle? It's 45 degrees. So if I go 45 degrees before, well, that's right in the middle, right? My reference angle is 45 degrees. From 0 all the way around, that's 315 degrees. Whether I look at the cosine of 315 degrees or I look at the cosine of 45 degrees, I'm going to get the same answers. So it all comes down to these answers that we have, right? What's 45 degrees? Well, we've got 30, 45, and 60, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So look at your answers for 45 degrees. Here they are, radical 2 over 2 and radical 2 over 2. So my answers are radical 2 over 2 and radical 2 over 2. That's the cosine and sine of 315. But we have to make sure we've got the correct signs, right? All are positive, only cosine's positive, tangent, sine. Only cosine is positive from here to here. So cosine is positive, sine is negative. Cosine of 315, radical 2 over 2. Sine of 315, negative radical 2 over 2. Let's try one more. Right? And by let's try, I mean you try. Why don't you try to find your reference angle and answers for 120 degrees? Go ahead and pause your video. When you think you have it, come back. You can check your work and see how you did. All right? I'll wait for you. Welcome back. We've got 0 degrees. We've got 90 degrees. We've got 180 degrees, 270, and 360. And if we're looking for a reference angle, we know we always build off of the x-axis. So 120 is somewhere in between 90 and 180. The question is, how far from the x-axis is it? Well, the x-axis is 180. 120 is somewhere back in here. So we need to take 180 minus our 120. We're always looking how far above or below 180 it is, or how far above 0 or below 360. So we're always going to be working off of 180 and 360 when we're finding our reference angles. We don't really need to worry about the 0 because it'll already be 30, 45, or 60. But if it's somewhere in here, we're working off of 180. If it's somewhere in here, we're working off of 360. So, how big is our reference angle? If you said 60 degrees, good job. That means from 180, I need to back up 60 degrees. Well, I know the middle would be 45, so it's more than the middle. Here would be my 120 degree angle. This would be my 60 degree reference angle. And it is all about those reference angles when you're finding your answers. So let's go back to the ones that we know by heart. We've got 45, we've got 30, and we've got 60. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Everything is over 2, over 2, over 2, over 2, over 2. And then we take our square roots of the tops. So, which ones? Oh, 60. That's this, right? So, 1/2 and radical 3 over 2. 1/2 and radical 3 over 2. The question is, which one is positive? All are positive, only cosine's positive, only tangent's positive, only sine is positive. Only sine is positive. So radical 3 over 2 is positive, but we have negative 1/2. Cosine of 120 is negative 1/2. Sine of 120 is radical 3 over 2. Hope you got it right. For the next few minutes, what you're going to do is practice the unit circle game. There are 2 settings that we will change when we go into it. I'll demonstrate that for you here shortly. We do not want radians yet. We're just going to leave it in degrees, and we're going to turn the timer off so you actually have time to think and process. But let me demonstrate how the game works. It might take a little bit of time to load. Unfortunately, the website is pretty heavy on ads. If you have trouble finding it, you can always go to Google, search for Unit Circle Game, and it's usually the first one. It's off of Math Warehouse. Great game, lots of ads. All right, so let me scroll down. There we are, Unit Circle Game. I'm gonna go off to the settings to begin with, and I wanna turn off radians. And I do not want a timer. Go ahead and close. Now, the way that this works is on the outside are your answers, like the 1, 2, 3s. Those go on the outside, like your beginning points. 1, 0, 0, 1. All your answers go on the outside. And on the inside, they're going to have your radians, but I think we turned those off, right? Let's go ahead and get started. Oh, they're gonna have your degrees on the inside. Oh, cool. First question, negative radical 3 over 2 and 1/2. So I've got to think, where is cosine negative, sine positive? Where is cosine negative? Let's see, cosine's positive here, positive here. So cosine's negative in these two because my x is negative. Where is sine positive? Sine's positive here. So one of my answers, one of these 3 on the outside, should match this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm thinking this one right here. I get an ad! I told you it loves its ads. All right, let me close that ad, see if I got it right. I got it right, I got a green one, good. 0, 0, where is 0, 0? Yes, right there. Negative 1, 0, where is negative 1, 0? Let's see, negative 1, 0. Remember, on the outside are the answers. Radical 2 over 2, negative radical 2 over 2. Well, let me see what happens if I make a mistake, all right? Let's see, cosine is positive, sine is negative. Let's say I make a mistake and I say it's right here. Oh, it turned it red, it told me it's wrong. I get another shot at it. Cosine's positive, sine's negative. That would be here. Notice how it's yellow because I goofed up the first time. 135 degrees. Angles go on the inside. Answers go on the outside. Hope you have fun with it. Do your best. The more you can do this, the better off you're going to be as we continue working in trig. Time for a brain break. Why can't you drink a glass of water with 8 pieces of ice in it? Because it's 2 cubed. Ice cubes. Get it? Get it? Did you know that no matter how big or small, how short or tall you are, everyone's bones weigh the same amount? Think about that. right? No matter how big or tall, how short or, right? Everyone's bones weigh the same amount. One skeleton. Ah, get it? One skeleton? Ah, that was a good one. All right, take about 15-20 minutes, work through Desmos, reference angle practice. When you are done, you should run through your unit circle game again this time. When you are done, I need a screenshot of your finished game. Screenshot of your finished game. Attach it to Google Classroom. Hope you have a great day. And before you leave, be sure you get a copy of your quiz practice. You have a quiz next class on chapter 9.2, 9.3. If you get stuck, come see me, but you have to know your unit circle, right? Bye, guys.